Who's here? Michael Montoya? Yes.
Yeah.
Martinez. So do y'all want them brought in at the same time?
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
I know that, well, I don't have any other witnesses. I don't have two others.
All right, I'm gonna take up Mr. Beck first, and then I'll do this. Where's his phone? His phone.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go back on the record on Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks, come on down. So do y'all want them brought in at the same time?
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Hello, good.
All right, we're calling back 2021 CR 7353, State of Texas versus Ramon Brooks. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
And Your Honor.
Defense?
Thomas Beck.
All right, Mr. Beck, your client is refusing to sign the conditions. He would prefer to go into custody and just do his time. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And so, defense, are you asking for a new trial with regards to the defendant's sentence?
Yes, Judge.
Any objection, state?
No, Your
All right. Then the new trial will be granted with regards to the motion to revoke only. Mr. Brooks, again, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Are you the same Ramon Brooks, who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 7353 for the offense of theft from a person on September 10th, 2021 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes.
State?
Ramon Brooks.
Sorry,
Oh, oh, here you are, state. Yes,
Thank you, Judge.
you're welcome.
Violated condition number 43 on or about the 14th day of April 2023 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant Ramon Brooks did then and there fail to comply with the rules and regulations or instructions of the Bear County Community Supervision and Corrections Department's duly diagnosed resident facility, and that the defendant has refused to participate in the DDRF program services in violation condition number 43.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation in condition number 43, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to $10,000 fine and 2 years in the state jail facility?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation 43?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition number 43 true. Court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility. The court will sentence you to a $10,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with Mr. Ice Cream Shop
Yes, ma'am. And Cynthia.
and no
Gutierrez.
contact with Cynthia Gutierrez. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification, which I do not have. Did you fill out a trial court certification, counsel? Another one, please. You probably want to go around. What's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? All right, because this is not a plea bargain agreement, you have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Do you understand?
Yes,
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. When you're released, you need to seek treatment.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
You're welcome. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 5275, State of Texas versus Michael Juan Montoya. Could I have parties approach and announce for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Matthew Allen for Mr. Montoya.
Have both parties, are you Mr. Montoya? Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses, state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
And who is your witness?
The first witness is Serenity Montoya.
All right, Serenity Montoya, if you can come forward, please. All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Sir, RENITOI.
All right, I'm going to need you to make sure you speak up so that the court reporter can hear. All right, defense?
Serenity, how old are you? And are you working right now?
Yes, sir.
Where?
And as a housekeeper and a laundry.
Okay. What city do you live in? How do you know Michael Montoya?
Is my best
How old is he?
21.
And you know why we're here today, right? And you've been in court with Michael through this process?
Yes.
Now, while the incident happened, you weren't at the house, right?
No.
But did you see Michael that day or the day prior? Describe how he was.
Michael, like everybody was out to get him, just felt like everybody was out.
Did you, right before this happened, did you guys go get something to eat?
Yes.
Was
We
there-
did earlier that day before all this
Mr.
happened.
Garahan.
I took Michael, me and Michael had went to, remember, we were there, we ordered food, and we were about to get out. He like hesitated to get out, and I asked him the reason why he was hesitant to get out the car to go eat, that we were talking to people, so then we're putting like, telling them.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
With the worker, telling them like, that we're poisoning to poison his food.
Okay, and just to be clear, were you doing that? Right. Oh,
She can't hear.
okay, it's okay, take a deep breath and then just enunciate and you can speak slowly, okay? Okay, just to be clear, you weren't doing that.
No, sir.
Now, tell me about Michael growing up.
He was, I mean, like, he loves sport, like me and Mike, he was my best friend, my brother, like hard.
Were you,
It's hard emotionally and then like, I wanna be here for my brother, but for me to be up here, it takes a lot for me to do this, like, I know my brother's life is on line, I don't know.
how was he as a brother to you?
He was there when I needed him,
Would he look out for you?
yes, I would even, he was always there, I don't even have to call him, he was there.
And since this has happened, you become aware of have you become aware of some of the mental health and drug issues that Michael was having?
Yes.
Were you aware to that extent before?
Aware, I didn't know, I was aware of some of his drugs, was he aware of every single one he did.
Have you stayed in contact with him since he's been in jail? Has he expressed that he wants help?
Yes, all the time, every time, he's always asking like, what has we like call anybody for help, or like, he wants people to come talk to him, he wants help. I mean, he wants help, I don't know,
Who do you live with right now?
myself with my boyfriend.
You and your boyfriend? Once
I got
Mike,
my own-
okay, once Michael is released, now that you're aware of the extent of his issues, will you be there to support him?
Yes,
Will you make sure that he gets therapy and takes medication?
of course,
And do your best to make sure that he's not using any drugs?
yes,
Is there anything else that you want to know before she makes a decision on Michael?
you see, my brother was just showing like any emotionally,
All right, so here's the issue. The court reporter cannot hear what you're saying. So I understand that this is a rough time for everyone involved and that everyone is distraught. But if the court reporter cannot hear what you're saying, then she can't take it down, which means it's just like it didn't happen. Okay?
any leniency. I
I'm sorry,
know
you're gonna have to
he-
talk.
That wasn't him, not something he would do. He doesn't mean it. He did. He does show me.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for coming.
Sorry.
And who's the next witness?
Michelle Hernandez?
Michelle Hernandez. Michelle Hernandez, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. If you'll state your name for the record and spell it, please.
Michelle Hernandez, MICHLLEHERNANDEZ,
All right, defense.
Ms. Hernandez, how old are you?
41,
What do you do for work?
contracting work with my boyfriend.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna need you to make sure you speak up so that the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
You live here in San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
How do you know Michael?
He's my son.
You know why we're here today?
Yes.
I guess around the time of this incident and when Michael was arrested, describe Michael's behavior.
Very paranoid, just didn't trust anybody. He was always to himself.
On that day, do you know if Michael had used drugs?
Yes,
If you know, what did he use?
marijuana and
During this time period, was there anything else that, as far as Michael's behavior, that now maybe?
Just one moment. Counsel, I can't have you all talking behind the court reporter. You need to move him down to the other end. So you all can speak, Mr. States, and you all can speak in the box, but it just needs to be on that end. You may continue, counsel.
Thank you, Judge. Looking back now that it may be red flags about his behavior, did he or someone ever call the police about people
Oh,
outside?
There was a couple of incidents when he thought there was a few guys, he said, were outside trying to kill him when there was no one outside. He called the cops three times in one night.
And with those types of behaviors, do you know, obviously, you know, Michael was using some drugs during that time.
Yes,
Now, describe Michael growing up as a child.
very athletic, loving, caring. He's a hard worker.
Did you have problems with him?
No, none.
At the home, where is Michael's biological father?
I don't know.
Okay. Were there any issues with his biological father at the home?
Yes, there was violence with him and I.
And did Michael witness some of that?
Yes,
Did he witness alcohol abuse?
yes,
Did he witness people using drugs?
yes.
And would you guys always be at the same house, or sometimes you'd have to go stay with his grandmother?
Whenever his father and I would take them into my mom's.
Before this, was there any traumatic events? Did he lose anyone that he was close to?
His best friend,
His best friend?
like 4 years ago. And ever since then, I've seen a little downhill.
What about anyone in your family?
My brother, he was close to as well.
How long ago was that?
It was a year before that, before his best friend,
And have you stayed in contact with Michael since he's been in jail?
every day.
Is there anything else? I guess, let me ask you this. You brought with you a notebook here today, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and what's in the notebook?
It's just pictures of Michael, a few of them that I have left over. I lost a lot of my things. And him growing up with other family members or friends.
Just read it to the court.
Judge, there's no objection.
All right, the court will review that, and I know how moms are about photographs, at least how my mom is. So I'm going to review it and then I'll return it to you.
That's my next question. Judge.
Yes.
Now, look, through the years, I guess, is this the same Michael during that time period, even a few months prior? Was that the same Michael that you knew growing up? Did you notice behavioral changes? Were you aware of his mental health and the extent of his drug abuse back then?
No,
Okay. Now that you are aware, you think that he needs help.
yes,
Has he expressed a desire to get help?
yes,
Has he expressed remorse about what's happened?
yes.
Is there anything else that you want to know before making your decision?
Mr. Grant,
Is that again? Sorry,
Thank you for listening to.
thank you so much for coming in.
and the prosecutor may have some questions for
Okay.
you.
One, did you know the victim in this case?
Yes.
How was the victim?
He's a good.
A good man? Okay. Didn't deserve what happened to him, is that correct?
No,
Okay. And you're not aware of your son's drug use, is that right? The extent of it, that's what.
not the extent of it, no.
Okay. But you used with him that same day. I'll move on to that next question. The fact is that your son even admits that he used on a daily basis, that he lived with you. He used marijuana, he used meth, and he used Xanax on a daily basis.
I didn't know of him doing all of those.
And you stated he had a good childhood. I saw the photos, and that he viewed some physical violence between you and your husband,
Yes,
and some physical violence between you and your boyfriend, or one of your boyfriends.
okay, yeah,
Maybe once, so not an extended period of time.
yes,
Was he ever abused in the house?
no,
Sexually abused in the house?
no,
Was he ever sexually abused by anyone?
no,
Abused physically by anyone?
no.
Emotionally by anyone?
no.
So the only time you saw the difference in his behavior is when he started using drugs on a daily basis since the day of 18 years old.
No,
You saw behavior before that. Yeah.
I just seen the behavior change when his best friend and my brother passed on.
How old was he?
I believe he was 16.
16. So he started using alcohol back in 6th grade. You're aware of that, aren't you?
No,
That's what he stated.
no,
Not aware of that. Where were you at during this time when he was in 6th grade and started using alcohol on daily, or at least
he was at my mother's house.
at your mother's house?
Yes.
Where were you?
I was not living with them there.
Okay, other questions, John?
Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
I do. A question wasn't asked, wasn't answered. Were you using meth with your son? That's either yes or no.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, defense, call your next witness.
Just 1 minute. Edward Charles.
Edward Charles, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you could state your name for the record.
Philip Charles Jr.,
All right, defense,
Thank you. Mr. Charles, how old are you?
40 years old.
And do you work?
Yes,
What do you do for work?
I'm a subcontractor, of residential homes.
How do you know Michael?
I've known him from his mother. We've been dating for 4 years.
And so you've known Michael about 4 years?
Yes,
All right. You know why we're here today?
yes,
And you were actually there when the incident happened.
correct.
And I think the prosecutor asked, so I'll ask you, I mean, was there, you weren't being attacked or anything? There wasn't,
No.
to your knowledge, there was no reason for Michael to do that. Around that time period, either that day or even a few days prior, did you notice any behavior issues or red flags about Michael?
He became distant from me and his mother. He would leave with his sister and the boy. He'll come back and tell us like they're acting weird, as if they were planning something, plotting something against him. And then whenever he would leave with them, vice versa, he would tell them about us plotting something against him. He just thought everybody was against him. He was very secure with everything. Even kind of expressed he thought we were tied with them to poison their food. And
Was that the incident that Serenity was
that's
talking about?
correct. The same day, that's right.
Okay. I mean, when he wasn't like that though, what type of person was Michael?
Michael, he was great. He was loving, caring, asking me for help, or if they need help, asking me. He went on several jobs, at least over 10 jobs with me working.
So the Michael that day where the incident happened, was that the Michael that you had seen, or did that shock you?
That's not that day. That day, he wanted to leave that day, and I talked to him into staying. I'd give him a stay throughout the following week, and we got back to work. And we were real bonded that day. He distanced himself from me, as if I was against him or if I didn't like him. And talk to him and realize like I'm here for him. I'm here for the family. I love my child.
Is there anything else that you want to know about Michael before she makes a decision?
That Michael wasn't himself. I'm on the phone now, and that's Michael, always looking out for others. And that day when it happened, he made a comment to me saying, "You didn't tell me to do it. You didn't." And from that moment, like I was upset with him, thinking that what would make you think anything like that? He was my friend. I was so confused. I was lost. I got out yelling at him like, at the scene, very upset and lost. I didn't know it was mine. Mother been trying to figure that out this past year.
Thank you. The prosecutor may have some questions for you.
Yes, Sean. Thank you, Mr. Charles. I just want to clarify, you knew the victim and that he worked on other jobs for you or
Yes, sir.
worked with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No, sorry. And the fact is that particular day, he was not threatening to you, trying to hit you, that you saw. He didn't try to attack the defendant in this case, Mr. Michael Montoya.
No, prior to that,
Yes.
they were outside 15, 20 minutes prior to that. They were outside talking, and then I tried to butt in their conversation as both Michael's family, my friend. And they were just ignoring me because they're having a good time. They were laughing, and I just forget y'all, and I walked inside.
In fact, in these ring cameras, you're aware of the ring camera videos that were supplied by the homeowner in this case.
Yes, sir.
You can see the three of y'all standing out there, and there was at least a cigarette or something smoking that was passed around. Is that right?
That's correct.
And what was that?
That was
What? Okay, so marijuana.
yes.
And so prior to that, nothing had happened, nothing transpired between the defendant and the victim. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And when y'all went into the house, you left the house, and then the defendant, Michael Montoya, shot at the victim 3 different times. You're aware of that?
That is incorrect.
That's incorrect.
I was in the same room when Michael shot.
So were you watching it happen?
No, sir.
So you were turned around?
I was kneeled down into a file cabinet.
So you were there when it happened.
Yes,
And what happened after that? After he was shot?
I couldn't get up at that very moment. When I was able to actually stand up, I turned around. I see like a tunnel vision. Michael on the other side of the doorway, I never saw Paul. And I saw Michael with the handgun, not facing at me, or he just had it to downwards. Like if he didn't know, he didn't have no response to what he did at that moment. And I was terrified. I didn't know what was going through his head when he started hearing, Michael, what did you do? Michael. And he snapped out of it, and then he realized he had the gun in his hand. And what do I do? What do I do, Doc? What do I do? I said, put the gun down. And then it was a 5-gallon bucket. He put it down. When he put it down, and that's when I charged him, and I saw Paul on the side of the doorway folded up.
And then you're the one that called the police, is that correct?
His mother.
His mother called, and then you waited for the police there, is that correct?
We both did.
Well, but Michael did,
Michael left,
and I'm sorry,
but came back.
right. You're aware of his drug use though?
Yes.
I mean, that night you smoked marijuana. Wasn't it?
Yes, I did.
Are you aware of his other illicit drugs like Xanax?
I'm aware we tried not to, any type of other drug than that. I didn't prove any of that.
Well, you're aware of the meth use, obviously,
Yes, I'm aware of it.
and you're aware of the marijuana, you're aware of alcohol use.
The marijuana, I did smoke.
Well, I'm not
No,
working
but-
on that, but you're aware that he used it quite a bit.
I don't know about quite a bit, but yes,
Can you describe to the judge the demeanor of Michael when he was on meth?
he used or marijuana or sober, he was still the same in my perspective, but his thought process, if it was negative, it would be 10 times worse, or if it was positive, it would be 10 times as positive. It would just enhance of the mood he was in.
What I'm trying to get to is the fact is you see a marked difference in his attitude now. Is that right? When you talk on the telephone?
Yes,
So he's not on drugs now.
he's on anxiety.
Well, I'm sorry. He's not on meth.
No,
Okay.
no,
And he's not doing smoking marijuana, right?
correct.
Okay. So there's a difference between him being where he voluntarily goes out and does Xanax, that's not prescribed to him. When he does meth, that's not prescribed to him. When he does marijuana, when it's not prescribed to him. When he's out in the world doing all these drugs, he's a different type of person.
Yes,
And now he's a different person because he's not on all those drugs.
that is true. None of us understood his medical condition that we believe that he has
Mhm.
now. And I know doctor would not feel that he used that to help him cope. And I myself, I've been incarcerated. I'm saying that is, but it took me, I understood about myself by getting help from the system. They put me into rehab, and I understand a lot about myself from there, and I just believe he just needs help.
Thank you. No further questions, John.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you. Defense, call your next witness.
Dr. John Matthew Fabian, I believe he's present via Zoom.
Yes. Any objection to Dr. Fabian testifying by Zoom state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Dr. Fabian, if you could unmute and show your video, please.
Okay, hello, Judge.
Hello, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Sure. My name is John Matthew Fabian.
Defense?
Thank you, Judge. And Judge, you have a copy of his report.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Fabian, just what are you licensed in, very briefly?
Just briefly, clinical psychologist. I'm licensed in about 7 states. I'm board certified in forensic psychology, clinical psychology, and I'm fellowship trained in clinical neuropsychology.
All right, and you performed an evaluation on Michael Montoya,
I did, yes,
and you performed different tests on him.
I did.
And what did you use in your evaluation for your report?
Well, I saw him on October 14th, 2022 and December 19th, 2022. And I conducted both neuropsychological and psychological tests with Michael. And there are a number of them in addition to, some of his history and as to why I did do testing of that nature.
And I guess just to go kind of in order of your evaluation here, you go through background and family history. What stood out in the background family history portion that you think is relevant?
Sure. So, Your Honor, briefly, Michael had, come from a very dysfunctional background. There was domestic violence, physical, verbal, between mother and father. Mom eventually left father. And then, she connected with a boyfriend, and there was then domestic violence between boyfriend and mom. So he witnessed quite a bit of domestic violence and chaos growing up. I would note that during my evaluations, he struggled with really expressing thoughts and feelings, in part because just of poor verbal skills, poor language skills. And really, he's never dealt with any of these trauma-based issues. I would also highlight more on page 3 of my report that mom did have a history of substance use. And there, again, was a lot of instability in the home. He moved around frequently to different family members. And, there was, in my opinion, some evidence of neglect. The family was impoverished, very poor. His father had a history of incarceration, chronic alcohol, methamphetamine problems. He'd been in the Barrett County Jail, in my understanding, multiple times. And then in addition to that, residential chaos, family chaos, instability. He reported being shot at when he was age 18. And then we turn into his developmental history, and he perceived, endorsed symptoms of ADHD. It's my understanding he was never properly assessed or treated for it. He had difficulties academically with school, with comprehension, although my understanding, he was never formally placed in special education, but he attended a number of different schools, and that school instability was similar to residential and family instability. Should I keep going, counselor?
Well, let me ask you about
Counsel, just so you know, the court has read his entire report. I
Okay.
always read everything.
Okay, then I'll try to ask more specific questions. Then, Dr. Fabian, you talk about physical and emotional abuse that he witnessed. You talked about drug and alcohol use that he witnessed at a young age. Now, how does that affect somebody, even if that person themselves is not the person being physically abused? How does that affect somebody at that age?
Well, it's not a good effect, obviously. There was chaos in the home, plus, social learning, modeling of substance use. His mother had been using drugs in the home, it's my understanding. And then he eventually was using methamphetamine with her, even the day of the offense. Parental substance use genetically and environmentally places an offspring at risk to use and abuse substances as well. And it was clear that he had been using in the home methamphetamine the day of the offense with family members.
And so you talked about modeling. So is that if you see your parents doing that, that's something that you think maybe you should do, or you mimic that behavior later on?
Yeah, so the research is clear that individuals, that offspring are more likely to use and abuse substances if their parents, do as well. And both parents did struggle with methamphetamine use, the biological parents and the boyfriend that mom had as well.
Now, because of those issues, I think you diagnosed with PTSD. How does that affect somebody having PTSD? And would someone even know that they have that?
Well, no, not in these particular circumstances. Typically, individuals of low socioeconomic status, just a lack of education as to these issues. The family and the individual typically are not aware of that. And in this case, it's my understanding he had never been evaluated by a mental health professional. And in my opinion, there was no insight by family or resources to do so. And I know that on page 7 of my report, we look at more evidence of polytrauma with there's different types of abuse and neglect that he witnessed and or experienced, and early in childhood. So he was never evaluated for PTSD and would not know that he had it. And then when I did examine him, it was clear that he did have evidence of PTSD.
And I think you mentioned before, it might be even more difficult since he had trouble expressing emotions. And and feelings.
Yeah, and that's due to not only the not having done it before due to mental health issues of PTSD, often avoidance of dealing with those negative trauma-based thoughts, feelings, using substances to self-medicate, but also, in my opinion, he has a language-based learning disability that was not diagnosed.
And you said using substances to self-medicate. So you're aware of the extensive drug use and alcohol use by Mr. Montoya. How did that affect his behavior and such?
Sure. So I have diagnosed him, with PTSD, ADHD combined type, and then language learning disorder. And then we have on page 18 of my report, methamphetamine, alcohol, cannabis, and Xanax use disorders. So there is clear evidence that he had never been assessed, treated for mental health issues or conditions that he does have. And, in my opinion, there was evidence that he was, self-medicating with the use of stimulants and then downers, benzodiazepines, and the other substances, to essentially make him, self feel better, and also treat the psychiatric symptoms that he does have. And this eventually led to a methamphetamine induced psychosis with psychotic symptoms mimicking schizophrenia.
And that was going to be my next question. So the prolonged use of drugs, and in this case, methamphetamine, how does that affect someone's brain, their thinking, their reasoning?
Sure. So, simplistically, methamphetamine is a psychostimulant, and it's going to be affecting, like many substances, the reward center of the brain, the limbic system. But with this type of drug, it also affects, I'd say, the temporal lobes, which in part houses schizophrenia. That's where that disorder, psychiatric disorder, when it's present, originates. And it also has similar effects with neurotransmitters within the brain as schizophrenia. So in essence, in this case, his methamphetamine use manifested into psychosis. And it's my belief and perception based on my evaluation that he was, substance-induced, methamphetamine-induced, intoxicated, and psychotic at the time of this offense.
And with therapy and maybe prescribed medication, and then obviously staying sober, are these things or behaviors that Mr. Montoya might be able to change?
Well, yeah, in a lot of these cases, when I go to my last page of this report, or actually page 20, Your Honor, I look at this as basically a tri-diagnosis. A lot of times these individuals, these defendants I evaluate, really have never had a look or an evaluation until it's forensically based in court. And in my opinion, he had neurodevelopmental disorders of ADHD and language disorder. I would say with mild brain dysfunction, he has evidence of PTSD and, polytrauma. We call it complex trauma, very intense PTSD that was really never assessed or diagnosed, and then chemical dependency problems. And they do they're collective in combination, certainly affects his life in a number of ways. So, he needed this evaluation to figure out really what was going on with him and developmentally and currently. And then as far as the treatment, yes, he does need psychiatric medication management for the ADHD and PTSD, trauma-based psychotherapy that's long-term, and chemical dependency treatment programming. And hopefully the effects of methamphetamine will not then develop into a full-blooded schizophrenia condition.
And so to maybe sum it up, the undiagnosed mental health can lead to looking, and the modeling that you talked about from his parents can lead to using drugs and alcohol to treat those conditions. And then that prolonged use leads us to where we are today. Is that?
No question. And it is a biopsychosocial phenomenon, but he also lived in a very impoverished environment where there was drugs, alcohol, violence within the home and in the community. So yeah, he was at high risk to develop substance use problems.
Thank you, Dr. I'll
Sure.
pass the.
Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Fabian, I'm Jason Guerra, and a prosecutor for the state.
Hi.
Thank you for being here today.
I guess my question is, you evaluated him. Did he ever state at any time that he was forced to use methamphetamines?
No, he was not forced. He was an adult as well. It's my understanding. So, no one forced him. I mean, I think there was some influence if he's using substances of his parents or his mother, but no one forced him.
Okay, and then also on the last line of your report, page 20, last line, it states that at a portion here, it said he had a break of contact from reality and was hallucinating and was markedly paranoid at the time of the offense. Can you describe to the judge, what do you mean by hallucinating?
Well, he had endorsed what he thought was auditory hallucination. And as I say, I think on page 18, it says, I just remember Edward telling me what to do. And in my estimation, there was evidence of paranoia and auditory hallucinations, but they were substance induced based on methamphetamine.
And you're saying this was substance induced psychosis by methamphetamine?
Yes, it's my understanding that he had used about a month straight, and binge use and use the same day. So I cannot say that this was separated or differentiated from any type of schizophrenic condition. I would have to say it was methamphetamine-induced psychosis.
I mean, so you're not saying that he is schizophrenic, had this since he was a child or anything like that, because his mother testified just earlier that he had a good childhood. We saw several photos. I know that you're not privy to these photos of his childhood and his support system.
No, I'm not. I'm sure he had happy moments in childhood. I do question the consistency of that, but
Okay. No further questions.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Dr. Faber.
thank you. Thanks, Your Honor.
All right, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
State any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, any arguments?
Yes, sir.
All right, brief argument.
Yes, sir. I'll make it brief. The court's aware we provided the report for Dr. Fabian. Look, Mr. Montoya, Michael is a 21-year-old with very limited history of any crimes. He was a normal young person, and then things outside of his control at that time when he's younger influenced him, and unfortunately influenced him in such a way that partly led us here today. And I don't say fully because he was an adult, he has to make those decisions. But he witnessed physical abuse, verbal abuse, he witnessed alcohol use and extreme alcohol use. He witnessed drug and methamphetamine use from the not just friends, we're talking about people that were supposed to model good behavior and be a support system. And instead, like Dr. Fabian said, modeled behaviors which he mimicked later on. If we look at his statement in the PSI, now that he's been in custody, he's had time to reflect, we've gone over things. He admits one of the statements he says to the detective, no, that person didn't do anything to me. Again, we're not trying to say that it was self-defense or anything like that. He wanted to take full responsibility for what he did. And he's doing that here today, and he continues to do that. But drugs, there's no question that the behaviors he witnessed in his childhood, combined with the drug use, affected his brain and his thinking, just like Dr. Fabian said. And Dr. Fabian said, well, with therapy and prescribed medication, continued treatment, and obviously staying sober, that he can try to change those behaviors and that way of thinking. And I think we've heard a little bit that it started going that way. Again, I think just the biggest thing is that he, from a young age, he has outside influences that were not even just neglect, but showing him the absolute wrong things to do at a young age, and how that impacted and influenced him to create mental health problems that went undiagnosed, that his parents never sought treatment for, that he never got treatment for until we were here today, until he was seen in the Bexar County Jail. There were some warnings from the continued med use, and Michael's very honest with his drug and alcohol use because he knows he needs to be, not only because we're in court, but because he wants and needs to get help and treatment at some point. And I think he's talked about getting an education, finishing high school, continuing to try to seek treatment while he's in prison, because obviously that is where we know that he's going to go under this plea bargain agreement. But again, I think just listening to Dr. Fabian and at a young age, it's easy to say, well, you were young and your sister's fine, so why can't you be fine? But that's not the way the world works.
Oh, I
That's not-
never do that.
That's not, I appreciate that. It's not the way everybody's brain works and develops. And so unfortunately, we're here today. He's very remorseful. He's very sorry for what he did. There's no getting around that. But we did want to bring the court some other things that were going on. We asked the court to take that into consideration and sentence Michael to 15 years.
All right, state.
Your Honor, one, the defendant, we saw the photos that were presented to the court, and I know that is a snapshot, literally a snapshot of his childhood. But yet there are photos of his childhood, of him growing up, that he had some type of support system through grandparents and other individuals in his life. But he chose, yes, at a young age, not to proceed and take advantage of those people. What he chose to do is drop out of school and cut class and drink alcohol, use marijuana, and things that were detrimental to his mental health, anybody's mental health for that matter. For the fact is even in Dr. Fabian's report, he didn't start using methamphetamines and Xanax to the age of 18 at the time that he was an adult. So that at that point, Your Honor, he's making adult decisions that were detrimental to himself, not because of PTSD, not because of ADHD, because he chose to take the easier way and he wanted to go have drinks. He wanted to go smoke marijuana. The day of, he smoked marijuana with his mom's boyfriend. The day of, he just chose to do methamphetamine. That caused him to be voluntarily intoxicated, that he chose that path. So the fact that defense is asking for a sentence of 15 years is not appropriate in this case. 35 years in this type of case is appropriate because this person chose to go down the path he chose. Everybody has their childhood, everybody has their past. If you really look at what the doctor said and what his parents said, yes, there was some violence in the household. There was substance abuse in the household, but there's many people sitting in this courtroom today that chose different paths. And some of them are on a rocky road, but the fact is they haven't murdered somebody and shot them in the head when that individual is just there to help them. And Mr. Butler was there to help. He was there helping, and he was a plumber. And this is the victim in this case. And that's just a tragedy right there, is that this individual is out there helping late at night, trying to get this house renovated. And this individual decides to get intoxicated off of meth, Xanax, and drinking and marijuana, and shoots him just blindly behind the head. And that right there, Your Honor, deserves a 35-year sentence. Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Montoya, I want you to know that I listened to everything that's brought before me, and I consider all the evidence that's brought before me. I mean, do you deserve an apology? Yes. And you know why you deserve an apology? Because you had horrible parents in your life. Your mom, horrible parent, still a horrible parent to this day, using meth with you. She was horrible for bringing someone into your life as a stepfather who just got out of prison, using drugs with you. So you have horrible parents, horrible adults in your life. Your grandmother, it appears that your grandmother was trying to help you stay clean and sober, but then you have your horrible mom coming in and allowing you to live with her and use meth with her. That is ridiculous for your horrible mom to be using meth with you and rubber stamping it and okaying it. And then having your horrible stepfather who thinks he's a good stepfather, but there he is using drugs with you. And I guarantee you right now, your mother doesn't think she's a horrible parent, even though she's using meth with you. Your stepfather thinks he's doing a great job, even though he's using drugs with you. So I want you to know that I understand, and I heard everything, and I understand that you had a horrible upbringing. But by that same token, there's a complainant in this case, somebody who's dead, who had family who loved and cared about him, and he's just working, doing a job. This is not a situation where he was doing something illegal or doing something inappropriate. And whenever a life is taken, guess what? society suffers because whatever they were bringing to this world, maybe for the benefit of others, we no longer have that. So when I sentence you today, I want you to know that I realize your childhood was horrible. And sometimes people have a childhood that's horrible and they make it out. And you wonder, how did they ever make it out? And then sometimes when children are taken from the hospital to be with their horrible parents, you know that they're going to have a horrible life. And you have had a horrible life with your horrible mother and your horrible stepfather. And I don't know what they're doing with your sister. I don't know if they're using meth with your sister or not. I don't know if there are other grandchildren that people are allowing your horrible mother and your horrible stepfather to be around. So I want you to know that I heard all of the testimony and I listened to it and I internalize it. Okay? So I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to 35 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Court will take in consideration 665-487 and 673-117. I'll ask for the therapeutic community. And I'll also ask, they do have mental health treatment at the prison. I'll ask for that as well. I don't have any jurisdiction to force them to do that. But if you request it and they see that I'm requesting it, they may be able to do that for you, okay? Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your, did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll go off the record. I know that this seems like a lot of time, and honestly, it is a lot of time, but it's time for you to understand how you got to the position where you are. And it's also time for you to grow and get away from other people. I can't tell you or force you not to have any conversations with your mom, but your mom means you no good. Because if she did, she wouldn't be using drugs with you. If she did, she would have told you, stay with your grandmother. I'm not a good parent because I'm using meth. She still thinks she's a good parent, using meth and bringing a criminal in your life who's using drugs, who on the outside comes in wearing a nice outfit, dressed appropriately for court, but he's still a drug user. And that's who she's bringing around you. The fact that she gave you a father who everybody said was not a good father, then what does she do? She brings boyfriend after boyfriend to be negative influences in your life. So whether or not you continue to have contact with her is completely up to you, but you need to work on yourself, because otherwise, when you get out of prison, and at some point you'll get out of prison, you're going to be right back where you started from. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you. Do we have victim impact? All right. Is that, I don't see anyone on, is that Cassandra Castro?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Miss Castro?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Do you wish to show your video? All right. You may proceed, Miss Castro.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Let me just click to my thing. Hello, my name is Cassandra. Sorry. I am Paul's only child. He was my father. And I wasn't sure before today if the two of you actually knew each other or if you just saw him for the first time that night. But let me just tell you a little bit about him that you may not know. He was also a grandfather to my 4 children. He was a father-in-law to my husband. He was a son, and he was a beloved and cherished brother. He was an uncle, a cousin, and a friend to everyone who knew him. My dad was not perfect, but he was loved by so many. He was funny, and he was always ready to have fun. He was an artist. I don't know if you knew that. He liked to draw, and he was a plumber by trade. He is so missed by everyone in our family, and not being able to talk to him is not an easy thing. When I heard how old you were, my heart was broken, not just because of the loss of my father, the loss that our family has experienced not having him around, but also because of the loss that I'm sure your family must feel not to be able to have you around anymore. Your life, their lives, and my family's lives will be different because the decisions that you've chosen to make. When I heard that I could speak to you, I wasn't sure what I was going to say, so I prayed about it. And it's taken me a while to get to this place. It's taken me a while to get here, but I want you to know that I forgive you for taking my father's life. That wasn't an easy choice for me to make, but I want you to know that. And it's taken a lot of prayers and tears and countless nights with Jesus to get me there. I was supposed to write a statement about how my father's death has affected me and my family, but I don't see how that's going to help much. What's going to help me heal is Jesus, and he'll walk me through every stage of healing that I need, and that's between him and I. Instead, I want this impact statement to actually have an impact, and the person it would affect is you. So instead, I want to tell you what it is that I hope to get out of this letter. My hope for you, Michael, and I hope you listen right now. My hope for you is that you give your life to Jesus Christ. I pray that you change your story. Your actions do have consequences, and yes, the prison sentence is a long prison sentence, but your life doesn't have to be awful. A life with Jesus is hard, but it is always full of hope and joy and peace despite those hard times. And nobody may have told you that before. I don't know if anybody's ever told you about Jesus in your entire life, but I want to tell you that now. And like I said, I wasn't really sure what to say to you besides everything I've said. And so I had prayed, and I just asked God to speak to you through me. And I asked God what he wanted to say to you and to use me to deliver that message. So when I prayed, this is the message that I heard from God to you, Michael. So these are God's words to you. He says, Michael, I love you so much. My love for you runs so deep, more than you could ever know. When you were a baby and a toddler, I saw you. I watched you grow. The plans that I had for your future were great, and they still are more amazing than you could ever imagine. However, along the way, you've made your own choices that have hurt not only me, but yourself and the people around you. And you've chosen to live your life for yourself and do the things that you want to do. I love you, Michael. And I am devastated that you have chosen a life of sin over a relationship with me. When you know that something is wrong and you choose to do it anyways, that is a sin. And the sin that you have chosen will take you away from me forever. It will take you to hell. And hell is a real place. And it's the most awful place to ever exist. It's 1,000,000 times worse than any prison, and I don't want anyone to ever go there. And if you die in your sin, it will be too late for you, and you will be in hell forever. The penalty, the consequences of sin is death, and it's a spiritual death, and all that means is that you and God were separated forever. I don't want that. I am a holy and perfect God, and I cannot be in close relationship with anyone who is living a life of sin. But everyone sins. So something had to be done. And in John 3:16, in the Bible, it says this: For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. Jesus Christ is my son, and I sent him to earth to die a horrible, gruesome death on a cross, just so that I can be with people forever in heaven. He paid the penalty. Jesus paid the price, and he took the consequences of the sins of the world as if those sins were his own. And he received a punishment for the sins of the world so that people wouldn't have to. Because Jesus was sinless, his sacrifice was perfect. His sacrifice paid the price. And now all you or anyone else has to do is put your faith in my son, Jesus. Romans 10:9-10 says, if you declare with your mouth, Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it's with your heart that you believe and you are justified, and it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and are saved. That was everything that I have heard from God.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sarza. So he's in federal custody? He's
Hi,
in
Judge.
federal custody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what's the update?
I don't have one.
I was up here, so I don't know. If you'd like me to, I could check my file or my JD to see if it's on there.
All right. Or we could recall it because he's not here.
And that's fine, Judge. I mean, I can still look and that says, yeah.
Paul Smith the other day because I knew the setting was coming up. And he said that there's been no movement one way or the other on his case. He's in Oklahoma, but he hadn't pled or anything
Okay,
yet.
so if that's the case, he's still stuck there.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Jesus Garza, can I have a 45-day reset? Is that okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, we'll be back on July 13th. Yes, you may be excused. Andy Fuentes,